go ahead and introduce myself first. I'm the Blonde Broker. I'm an educator in the crypto and traditional finance space. I have the best job here. I get to ask all of these bright individuals a lot of questions for you guys and focus on education. And I also get to be the dumbest person in the room and ask multiple questions that you guys might want to know about. And if you like that, I have a TV show coming out on Netflix next year called The Future of Money. It's an Anthony Bourdain-style docuseries where I'll be traveling the world with a camera crew, interviewing a lot of founders of different DeFi protocols, Web3 startups, and a lot of great companies to teach the world the future of money. So, if y'all want to grab me later, we can talk and chat, but looking forward to meeting you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to the panel so they can introduce themselves.
That's rad.
Thanks.
Very cool. Do you guys want to go left to right?
All you.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm Nathan. I'm a protocol engineer, applied cryptographer. I've worked as a developer in the blockchain space for about a decade now. So I've more recently been working with Gnosis, and specifically with the Gnosis Guild, which is a department of Gnosis that is specializing in building DAOs, DAO tooling, DAO theory, DAO philosophy. We work on something called Zodiac. So this is like an open standard, a set of tools for DAOs. And to put all of that kind of theory into practice, I created my own DAO, and it's called the Secor Factory DAO. And it's a Creative Commons. It's managing a Creative Commons, so it's a place where we incubate artists and bring them into Web3 and show them the power of taking back the entertainment industry and owning and monetizing with Web3.
Amazing. Hey, everyone. I'm Mike Krolivsky. What's up, JJ? What's up, Rich? I'm here to, bring 1 billion people into Web3. We're making it easy with credit card transactions for NFTs. No crypto wallet needed. 99% of the world is not ramped up on crypto and doesn't have a crypto wallet yet. So we're doing all the hard work behind the scenes for them, and they don't even know it. They just go on and they can buy that NFT like that. So easy, your grandmother can do it.
So easy.
So easy. Hi, I'm Adrienne Ashley. I am the founder of Crypto Vixens. We inspire women to join founding teams as advisors or co-founders, regardless of technical expertise, because they use email every day and they don't know how it works, so they shouldn't be afraid. I am an NFT OG. I designed my first NFT for a hospital to replace the bricks in front before it was even technically possible. And I've been in blockchain since 2009, full-time since 2012. And I also have a TV show called Minting the Future that's starting. Think John Oliver's Last Week Tonight meets 60 Minutes because I can't not be funny. But it's very informative and fun. So that's what I'm working on right now. And driving mainstream consumer adoption is really my jam. So I help platinum-selling, Grammy-winning artists create their communities so that they can save getting deplatformed on social and keep their audience.
My name's Danny. I lead ChainStack's NFT team. We are a blockchain infrastructure company working with various types of companies and dApps that are using NFTs to innovate and push the space forward.
Awesome. So as you can see, they are a lot smarter than me. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to Nathan. What are some ideas that you have for mass adoption?
So I think mass adoption really is a question of how useful something is. So whenever there is a need for everyone to get on board, they will. You can kind of see that with Bitcoin, where its current adoption is in places where there's like political instability. There's countries that their politics are kind of corrupt and their financial systems aren't great. So they have this like real compelling use case to get into Bitcoin. And so we kind of need to have compelling use cases. And so one of those compelling use cases that I see is, DAOs, which will be just a new way of organizing the new forms of corporations going into the future. So we may end up seeing just a real compelling use case for the way that we coordinate and work together. And then, more inside of like the everyday type of thing, like what we're working on at the Secor Factory is music, right? So a lot of people listen to music. And this is one of those things where in the background, when like fans kind of realize that they can get involved with their artists and they can invest in them and find ways to just move from being like the product of what music was and like once music is viewed as a public good, that they can become more involved in it. I think that you don't really think about Web3. I think you're just going to be using it, and it's going to be a part of your everyday life whenever you have that compelling reason to.
Exactly. I think like, Nathan hit the nail on the head with a few things. Just to piggyback off some of the stuff he said with the DAO, we just bought a Major League Pickleball team, and so whoever's heard of
There's a Major League Pickleball.
yeah, so you might have heard of LeBron James, Tom Brady, Gary Vee, Mark Cuban. They all bought Major League Pickleball teams, and currently I'm obsessed. So me and some friends, and some of my friends own Pickle DAO, and Evan, the CEO of Pickle DAO, is floating around out here. We're gonna sell 10% of the ownership of this Major League Pickleball team to people via a DAO, via NFTs. So there's going to be 10,000 owners of this team.
Are you allowed to do that? Because in the
Yeah.
NFL and all the big ones, it's got to be owned by a single person.
Yeah, no, that's not true, because Green Bay Packers are a publicly traded company owned by many. So they were actually the first to start that type of
That's interesting.
ownership. But yes, what Nathan said for the question is absolutely correct. It's like when Wi-Fi, no one knows how Wi-Fi really works except for some really technical engineers. But once everybody needed it and saw the value in it and can use it, everybody was using it. But no one knows how to explain Wi-Fi. So I think everything comes down to the value behind everything that we're building, and I think you'll see that things like this DAO for the pickleball team will be interesting, because all the fans that love this team and this sport now get a say in how the team's ran.
And then have y'all considered like having, random people join organizations like, I don't know, like a rec league that I could play? Because I'm not.
Absolutely, yeah. There's like Miami Tech runs for basketball. That's like a thing, and here in SF and Los Angeles, and there's a lot of like pros in there / like overseas pros / people that just love basketball, and they're like wanting to play rec with like these really cool people.
Yeah, inclusivity.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so my idea for bringing in 1 billion people. My favorite thing, first off, is we've got to fix the scamming and the danger. We send civilians to Discord, and it is a very dangerous place for people who are not gamers, even for gamers, even for OGs like me, who know better than to click on a link late at night and think I got on the Spooky Boys whitelist and I bought, and then I didn't see it, but the timer counted down, and I could buy 4 more. I could buy another one. I was almost going to buy another one. No, I bought 4 more because the timer was running out, and I ended up realizing after I hit send, where there's no go backsies, that I had just sent $1,500 to a scammer. So we need to make sure that the civilians don't do that. One of the ways we can do that is through digital ID, but we want to preserve the ability for people to do things anonymously, because you're not going to want your heart surgeon on Adult Friend Finder or things like that. So you want to make sure that you can do whatever you want to do, but you have to own your words and your actions. And then the other piece of that is to make sure that that you don't silo people in Discord. It is a black box. Discord is the only thing that gets the benefit. If you have that entire community and everything you can do in Discord on your website, then you get all of the page rank, you get all the SEO, you get all of the, the low bounce rate, you get all of the benefits. And that, I think, is going, and it's transparent, so it spiders like Reddit. So it's Googled. And in Discord, it's not. So I think we're going to have a lot better user experience when we get people off Discord.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Discord is
Them's fighting words, right?
It's an interesting tool, and we've seen it evolve a lot over the years, and the community use it. But I believe that true mass adoption comes when NFTs and Web3 actually innovate and improve the lives of companies and users, right? Whether it's in supply chain, whether it's in science, real estate, whenever we actually use the technology to start bettering the customer journey, customer experience, that's when we'll actually see the mass adoption happen, because people will be using NFTs without really knowing they're using NFTs. Doesn't matter if it's called digital collectible, if it's a non-fungible token, doesn't matter. It matters that it improves your journey as the customer going through, whether it's purchasing, being a part of a brand, right, a loyalty program, or buying a house, as long as it's improving the customer journey, that's when we'll see the actual mass adoption of the technology, not when someone wants to have a pretty picture on Twitter or something else.
That's so true. So a good example is Radiologics, which is it's a health tech. But if you've ever had an MRI and you have to go get a second opinion, you have to go to the lab or the file room, you have to get a CD or you have to get a print, and then you have to take it to the second opinion and you have to wait. With Radiologics, using NFTs and using blockchain technology, they just literally send an authorization, boom, the second opinion can happen in seconds. So that definitely improves the real world. I was trying to drive mainstream adoption, getting people laid and ending the Me Too epidemic. So I thought that would work too, because who doesn't want to get laid?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, didn't give you the warning label?
No.
Oh, yeah, I had a naughty dating app for good girls that gets women laid and ends the Me Too epidemic by putting consent on the blockchain.
Is the app still up?
It's in reworking. Okay. We ran out of runway during COVID because, we were going to launch in February of 2020, and then all of a sudden, everything got locked down. I'm like, nobody's going to be able to find targets because there's no bars.
Oh, I know a lot of targets in this space.
Oh, yeah, no, baby, we're gonna reboot it. You and I, we're going to talk.
Oh, yeah, we're talking after this. Well, speaking of mass adoption, I do want to talk about marketing. So one thing that these conferences do really well is we market. We have a lot of people come, a lot of attendees, maybe not in this room, but like a lot of other rooms, there's tons of people, right? But if you've noticed, it's a lot of the same people attending these conferences, right? So Danny and I have been probably the last 5 conferences you've been to those, I've been to those. How do we bring new users into the space? So what is y'all's best idea and new form of marketing for Web3?
I don't personally do marketing, so I might not be the best person to answer this, but I do, talk to a lot of people in the space. I think we use, natural forms of marketing like Twitter Spaces or doing, calls or podcasts. And, you're right, we kind of maybe talk to a lot of the same people, but we put a lot of information out there for people to learn about things. And I think that finding a way for people to just kind of see it without, forcing them to see it is maybe a nice approach in the Web3 space. I think that marketing can come across as kind of scammy in this space, maybe more so than others.
Yeah, and I think the best form of marketing is actually improving the product itself and the value and getting the natural, organic people saying, oh my God, you have to use this. Think about when Snapchat first came out. It was like this thing that no one had before where you could send naked pictures to each other and it disappears. And it's like, oh my God, so many people wanted that. And it spread like wildfire. It really didn't need marketing. That was the marketing was the problem.
12-year-olds wanting to send dick pics.
Yeah. So it's I think to go back to that value part, that could be the best form of marketing is really making this useful and accessible. It's once the world decides, for example, NFTs, they're the most advanced form of authenticity in the world. It's much better than a deed. It's much better than a title. It's much better than a trademark. This is a universal, international thing that can't be altered or lost or stolen or whatever. And that, that needs to come to fruition. And once enough world leaders come through to kind of push it through in the right way, then you'll see the effects of the internal marketing, I would say.
So marketing. How many of you think that we're kind of in the middle of a shit show right now? Why are we not talking about that publicly? I mean, gas was $10 in California. It's a shit show. You've got people losing their jobs, mass layoffs. Back in 2008, I did a thing called the Curing Unemployment Tour, inspiring entrepreneurship as an alternative to joblessness. One of the things that I'm doing with my NFT project, Foxy's, is educating 1 million women and girls in blockchain development and entrepreneurship. Why? We need developers. We need to cross-train every single person who knows JavaScript, Node.js, and Rust, and turn them into Solana developers. We need to take anyone who has any kind of technical ability whatsoever and teach them how to step over into Web3. Why? Because it's the future. We need it. And they're sitting there lollygagging, and I'm like, hey, over here. There's actual like 6-figure jobs over here right now, and I know you're struggling with a $20,000 a year job, but you're smart enough to do this, and it's $19 on Udemy to become a certified Solidity developer. There's not a lot of barrier to entry. So I think one of the ways to get people to conferences and to get people into Web3 is to show them what's in it for them. They need to understand why they need to be here. So a day before, doing like a hackathon, jobathon, something, to really get the general population in the area into that space, to get them anointed, familiar, something. That's what I think we're going to have to start doing.
I think there are some Web3 job fairs going on too during the conference. So if you guys are around, throughout the week, you can go attend those as well. But I completely agree with you. And I actually do know JavaScript.
Oh, girl. We got to have a girls. I'm doing a Crypto Vixens hackathon.
We need more people in it. We need to learn Move. That's another language that Facebook developed. So we've got.
Why would we ever want to learn something that was developed by a highly centralized corporation?
Yeah, I think you nailed the good ones. JavaScript is really important. As a developer in the space, you're going to be using Node. You're going to be using JavaScript. Rust is an up-and-coming awesome one. So definitely those are the ones to go after. And there's a massive need too.
And SQL, because Chromia is their own programming language, but it's based on SQL, and 65% of developers know that.
Also,
so yeah, you don't have to go off and learn some obscure version of Latin. Like, it's really common stuff that is actually going to be useful across multiple things, and a transferable skill you can use forever.
Agree, but I want to get back to the marketing, which is. It kind of, right, we saw a good example with Reddit, right? I think corporations in large companies, which you use every day, Starbucks, once they start using this technology, then that will be the form of marketing that we need, right? We're not going to, increase SEO or do Twitter spaces, right? Not everyone's going to be on Twitter. That's not going to solve marketing. We have to have these brands innovate and push the technology forward and have people start using it. Like Reddit airdropped 3 million, NFTs to people. I used Reddit, I used Twitter, I was on Reddit. All of a sudden, people had no idea what NFTs are. And you're like, hey, man, congrats. You just got a super rare NFT that's now worth $10,000. The guy's like, what? I have an NFT that's worth $10,000? Like, how do I sell it? Like, even if it just gets 10% of people now into NFTs that weren't in it before, that's an extra 300,000 people that are now interested in technology. And then maybe they go in OpenSea, maybe they start playing around with what crypto really is, and now they're interested in technology. So, I mean, a pretty good use case, which you guys could probably, I'm not sure if anyone here has done like Ancestry.com or 23andMe. I don't know if you know this, but what those companies do is they redact your patient information, like your name and your social security. But what they do is they go sell your genomic data to pharmaceutical companies and companies that are doing testing. Imagine if that information was an NFT, right? And now you could then go sell your genomic sequences to Purdue Pharma or Regeneron or any other company you want, and now you could benefit from it. But right now, as the end person, right, your data, once you give it to 23andMe or any of these companies, it's gone. It's theirs now. So that's like a use case where like NFTs, if like your medical history, your genomic data, you could benefit as like a user, right? If you had the ability to say, hey, I can make a couple $100 every single time I give someone this information, even if you don't know what Web3 is, I'm sure most people will be like, yeah, I want a couple $100. So it's kind of those use cases that make the most sense of mass adoption in the marketing.
It would be fabulous if it was a couple $100. It would be so freaking baller. We would definitely get to 1 billion people really, really fast. Right now, it's less than Starbucks. So that's why we're having a hard time with that.
But why do we need 1 billion people in the space?
Well, we're going to have here's the other thing. Once we have 1 billion people in the space, we're actually going to have to make compromises. So at the moment, we're a pretty tight-knit community of 65 million or so. So that works. It's
also
a really nice small group.
I think that there is already 1 billion people that are in the space. We just have to like open up what we're doing to them. So like I don't know how useful it is for people to be collecting monkey JPEGs. There's value there immediately, so people got excited and got into it, but there's other ways to value things, like personal autonomy, having the right to vote for somebody without that being corrupted, having a bank account. These things are all like really important
Oh, you
use
mean
cases.
having a bank account that they can't take away from you because we're on CBDCs?
In the old ways,
And-
yeah,
and
the
like-
old reasons we got here,
And
right?
like serial numbers on ballots, even if we don't get voter ID, we could have a serial number on a ballot, like the old school when we used to do punch cards and we'd
Exactly.
tear off the top. And
There's-
I still have some of those.
Yeah, there's already 500 million people that listen to Spotify.
Right.
Once the music industry gets completely overhauled and musicians are now making money the way that they should be, that's already just 500 million people using NFTs and Web3, and they don't even know it.
And we do need 1 billion people. Because if we don't have 1 billion people, we're not going to have enough momentum to take back the things that we need to take back that allow freedom and independence and autonomy, which we're slowly having those things taken away. And it's nefarious, and we need to push back. But we can't push back without some mechanism and some large base of people agreeing.
I completely agree with you guys. And I do want to ask, what are y'all doing within your companies, with yourselves, to lay down these stepping stones for people to come into the space, for new users to really feel like they're welcomed here and like they want to learn? For example, we want more devs, right? How do we get them interested? How do we keep the space appealing, intriguing to the outside world? Because a lot of people are still stuck in their Web 2 mindsets. How do we get them to where we all are?
So yeah, here Mike from NFT Pay. We make payments easy for people that want to buy NFTs. And we're a B2B solution. We plug into NFT projects, NFT marketplaces, NFT gaming companies. And as you can imagine, people on these marketplaces and gaming companies, they want to buy the NFTs. But as a statistic we just talked about, 65 million unique crypto, wallet owners. There might be like 300 million crypto wallets, but only 65 million unique owners. That means 99% of the people in this world don't have a crypto wallet. But a lot of people want to buy the NFTs, right? If LeBron James launches one, a lot of people want to buy, his NFTs, and they don't have crypto wallets. Maybe 1% of them does. So there's solutions like NFT Pay all across the board in Web3 and blockchain that make it easy, so you can just literally go and have basically the same exact experience as you do in Web 2. For us, you put in your credit card and you could just buy the NFT just like normal. And in the background, we're doing all the hard stuff. We're building the crypto wallet for them. We're doing the KYC like with ML and AI to make sure it's not a fraudulent transaction. They don't have to do all this extra work. So I think all across the board, there's companies just like us building stuff that makes it super easy. Again, so the goal is so easy your grandmother can do it.
And I'm glad that you talked about wallets. And we've also talked about the value and how that's going to be driving adoption. And so I want to make sure that we don't sacrifice the things that we value, that we don't sacrifice the importance of your private key. And of course, that's like a natural barrier of entry, and it's a little bit harder for people to figure out. I think that people will figure that out once they do understand how important the value proposition is for being self-sovereign. And, like at Gnosis, this is one of the challenges that they've been working on, which would be to, like one of the challenges of a private key is what happens if you lose it. And so with like a Gnosis wallet, you can like assign some friends to help own your assets with you, just in case one person loses it, then you have some backups. And, inside like the core of Ethereum, they're working on things like account abstraction, which is going to make, smart contracts closer to the wallet layer. And we're going to be able to help solve some of these frictions while still maintaining the values that we want out of the system.
So one of the things that I did with the dating app was create a smart IID. It allows you to have your own ID. And if you think back to when Facebook launched the Facebook login button, a lot of seniors don't like to remember things, but they all had Facebook. So the problem is now you could literally say something like, I think Siamese cats are the best. And whoever is moderating or whatever has a tabby cat, and they're like, no, that's hate speech. Poof. And boom, you're gone for 30 days. I know 75-year-old women who have literally been banned for something stupid like that. And it's not actually a person doing it. It's the AI doing it. But because they're trying to moderate 1 billion people, there's automation in place that is not perfect, but there's also no appeal process. So one of the things that we worked on was the smart IID along with a grand jury. So a proof of personal stake, and your friends and family are staking that you're not going to ghost or you're not a serial killer, because a man's worst fear going on a blind date is that she's fat, and a woman's worst fear is that she's going to be murdered. And how do you solve for both equations? And blockchain actually does solve for both equations. So that was one of the things that we're working on. It's true. It's true. And then you want to have the privacy things, like you don't want to rate your date and be like, yeah, he smelled funny. But, you also want to make sure that certain things that are kind of priorities to I'm sapiosexual and a few other things. So if they're stupid, I'm going to dry up. So you got to make sure those things work. And so that's incorporated in there in blockchain. Sorry, I'm distracted.
It's early.
It's early. I'm
Look at me.
decaffeinated.
I'm
I'm
awake now,
single, so therefore there's no maintenance going on. Sorry. I gotta wake everybody up. It is early. This room should be packed.
My company does not do that.
You're like, why did I sit all the way over here and have to go after her?
My company is the developer's best friend. Developing on blockchain is difficult when you want to connect with multiple blockchains and you have to run your own nodes. You have to make sure the software is always updated. You want to be geo-load balanced, et cetera. There's lots of issues that go into running your nodes. So my company does as a service. We facilitate development across 19 plus blockchains, 4 private blockchains. The rest of them are public, EVM, non-EVM. So come to us, we'll run your nodes, we'll do your cloud hosting, give you advanced APIs, and essentially just let you worry about building your application and not have to worry about any of the DevOps work that goes into the back end of connecting to the blockchain, make sure it's always up, running 24/7, synced up to the blockchain. So we facilitate development and are the developer's best friend.
So does that mean that if I have an application and I need to spin up a side chain that's private and HIPAA compliant, but I want to sell master nodes, that you can do all of that for me so that I can literally mint my token and get it, because you can't sell a utility unless it's actually useful. You can make it useful like right now?
You got to speak to our protocol integration team.
I really wanted a yes.
But we can go through you.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
I'll make the introductions.
So we've got 2 more minutes left. I want to give the speakers 1 minute each to go ahead and, give some closing thoughts on bringing 1 billion people into the space.
Yeah, I guess my closing thought is just to hang out, because you're already here, and the 1 billion's coming. It's only a matter of time. We're going to improve some things, keep a lot of things, and really, I think that the compelling reasons are already there, and they're becoming more noticeable by the day. So really, it's just a matter of time.
That was great. Yeah, Mike here from NFT Pay, and I think, a piece of advice for all the builders out there, this is for the builders, think very critically about the current user experiences out there, what people are familiar with, what they're used to, and then the new opportunity that blockchain offers, or NFTs. And think about how we can merge the two. That's all we think about at my company, NFT Pay. We constantly think, how can this just be better for the user? How can it be faster? How can it be easier? And we've seen success stories like this happen in Web 2 early days, when things were hard to buy on the internet and Amazon came out and then made Amazon Prime and everybody loved it. And now look, everybody's addicted to Amazon Prime. Well, this is going to happen with all these Web3 solutions. There's massive things happening in our space too. So just think very critically about both of them when you're building, and try to merge them together.
That is such a great example. How many of you used to buy things on e-commerce when you had to pay for shipping? I had a buy it now button, so I did, problem. But now that you have Amazon Prime and you have free shipping, it's like click, click, click. Oh, it's like Christmas every day. So gasless, I think, is definitely how we get to 1 billion. Useful and invisible to the common user, but also safe and secure.
100%. How can you improve the customer journey? How can you make it easy to use? And just build something that improves all that, right? If you build a good product, people will use it. It's just a matter of time. So keep building. We're still early. Just do your research, get involved with the technology, and build something good.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And a big thank you to the audience and everyone who came out to Dcentral and Art Basel this week. If you guys want to give a follow to the speakers up here, you can connect on their socials, or if you can catch them after this space, go ahead and connect and network. And everyone stay safe and have fun and keep learning. So thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.